My name is Madison. I am a housewife, married for now. My husband, Kevin, who is several years older than me. My first impression of him at our first meeting was that he seemed serious.
After a few dates, Kevin said to me seriously, "I want us to be married."
I continued our relationship with the intention of doing so. His serious and sincere personality as I had expected.
When he proposed, he said, "I've lived a long time, but I can take care of myself. All I need is your smile in my life."
Hearing his proposal, I felt that I spend the rest of my life smiling W.
With this in mind, I said yes to proposal.
And at my husband's request, I quit my job and became a full-time housewife. And so our newlywed life began with happiness. However, after being married to Kevin, one thing after another happened that made me stop smiling altogether. The first was when I visited my parents-in-law's house to greet and meet.
My father-in-law had already passed away before my mother-in-law, Claire, who lived in the same house with us, said to me, "I feel relieved now. Even if I need nursing care, I haven't be now.
To that, Kevin said, "Since you only have sons, you were worried about having a daughter-in-law. But now we have a female in our family, so Mom, you can relax. You should be thanking me for bringing your wife into the family."
Kevin has a younger brother named Harry, was still single and living fat.
Huh?
Am I a caregiver? I felt a little disappointed in their conversation, but then I laughed. It off thinking it was how they joke around at Kevin's family. Kevin was a teacher, working from early in the morning until late at night, and advising club activities on weekends. He was often away from home on weekends. At my husband's request, I quit my job and became a full-time housewife. I thought that by supporting my husband, who worked hard at his job, that would make me happy. Looking back at this situation and about it, I was young. Eventually, I became pregnant with child, William. It should have been a joyous occasion, but my husband didn't like the fact that in the early stages of pregnancy, I was constantly lying down.
In a very sarcastic voice, he said, "You can sleep as much as you want every day. There's still laundry to do. You better get it done.
I am not sleeping in because I want to. I am pregnant, so that's why I'm sleeping. So why do I have to listen to sarcastic comments about it? Besides, I thought you said you could do it all by yourself and didn't need any help."
What did you say? You're sitting at home while I'm out, and now you want me to do the laundry?"
You said you could do it on your own. You proposed to me. You liar.
We would get into such fights that run away from home, but Kevin did no bother to chase me or stop me from the house. Also, Claire, my mother-in-law, was there.
when I planned to go on a trip with my parents while I still could before giving birth, Claire said, "Take care." When she said this, she was smiling soon as she found out that the destination was a luxury hotel. Why did you not prioritize Kevin and this kind of trip? In fact, why didn't you take me? You have no common sense at all. Do a letter where she wrote 5 pages, one fully written.
When I talked to my husband about it, he said, "It's your fault for neglecting your mother. I'm taking care of your living expenses, so you should have common sense to give the priority to your parents."
What is he saying? Besides, this trip was planned by me for our family from the very beginning. I wrote back to Claire about it. Because of this incident, this led Kevin and his mother becoming more mean to me. And when my stomach was getting bigger,
I worked on the farm and wiped the floors until the due date. Because pregnancy was not an excuse to be sick in bed. Don't spoil her just because she is last month of pregnancy.
My husband, who took Claire's side, you deserve this because you were off from your household chores. Just because you married me doesn't mean you can be slacking off. Or anything, Jay, when I was resting because hurt due to being pregnant.
as he said this, Kevin made me crawl on the floor of the house and floor with rags. Moreover, Kevin did not help me prep our child's birth at all.
When my husband was relaxing at home on an occasional day off, I asked him to go shopping for supplies. He told me that he had already done so earlier in the week. You have free time, so go on a weekend, you are free. Why should I go on my own when it's crowded on the weekends? Don't try to make it only easy on you when you're using my money up, he to me while he was focused on his playing games.
What the hell is he saying? And what do you think about being pregnant and having a baby with him? I just wanted to grab his phone and wanted to smash it and trash it, but myself calm. Ever since we got married, Kevin was to me anymore as he was before. Our butt, I kept calm because I thought would change back to being kind to. At that time, I still believed that happened. Then our first child, William, was...
When I was in the hospital and the contractions were not getting stronger, I asked him if he was taking too long. What the heck? Then I didn't have to take a day off work for this. You should consider more about my UC schedule.
Wow. At times like this, Kevin is always one to say such horrible things. But this time I was more concerned with having the baby than ignoring my husband. As the contractions gradually intensified, I was in so much pain and suffering that I started eating garlic bread right away without any concern for my health. As soon as he finished his garlic bread, he became sleepy and started taking a nap. The nurse and I were just as amazed at him and couldn't say anything but, wow. Anyway, Kevin was there to witness William's birth and even got to cut the umbilical cord. Kevin became teary-eyed as he held his arms out, and when I saw this, I felt so bad for how mean and horrible Kevin had been. But that was just for a moment. Kevin immediately left the hospital to go back to work.
I thought to myself that he couldn't take a day off for this, but then he sent me a text over WhatsApp which said I'm on my way.
I told my class that our baby was... He said that he had told his class detail of the experience of me being to delivery. I thought to myself, if Kevin ever has surgery, I'll record the whole thing and spread it around. Since I was embarrassed by Kevin telling sacred labor to his class, that thought crossed my mind for a moment. A few days later, Claire visited Kevin at the hospital and she saw something that was unforgettable.
Congratulations. This baby is... Who does he look like?
Of course, William looked just like Kevin as a baby.
You think so? Then there is no doubt about it.
Huh? What did she mean by I'm sure? I couldn't take it as anything other than there's no doubt that William is my husband's child. I thought, was it a mistake for my mother-in-law to have been born into this world? I was about to say what I thought, but I kept it in and just laughed it off without smiling.
After Claire left, I asked my husband, did she mean by that?
But Kevin just brushed it off, saying he didn't hear our conversation.
Kevin said, I don't think she mean way. Don't blame others for everything.
Kevin took Claire's side, but I could easily forgive Claire. For this one, no doubt about it, I commented. After being discharged from the hose, went back to my own parents' house. My parents' house was only 20 minutes from Kevin and my house. But Kevin would visit once every 3 to 4 weeks.
Every time he visits and sees William, he just says, oh, he's just sleeping and eats a lot of his mother's cool leaves without saying a word.
My parents were also bothered by my almost total lack of interest in W. They were concerned about Kevin, but just gave a birth to a child. My pair didn't say anything about how they Kevin at that time. Then, on the day I was going back to where Kevin was waiting,
I asked Kevin, please, can you come up? Kevin responded, I'm at your service.
You either come back home by yourself or your parents will take you home.
I was so mad at how he responded that I called him several times and sent several messages. But it took him 2 hours to come pick me up.
If you are ready, let's just go. I'm too busy. You really can't do anything on your own, Kevin mumbled.
He was in a foul mood the whole time he was packing my belongings, getting ready to leave. And we returned home as if he were rushing and taking me away from my family. I was so sad and disappointed that leave my parents' place without ever chance to thank my parents, and I felt bad about it. To think about it, I should have left him by now. However, at that time, I thought that living with our child would change him. But then I guess I was being optimistic about the situation.
As soon as I returned home, Kevin said to me, "You're a mother now. There are some things that you have to take care of yourself. What you should be doing is finding ways to make it work on your own. Don't talk about what you can do, but find a way to make it happen on your own. Are you a child? Even my students are better than you. I'm out there being busy taking care of students at school, so don't make me take care of you and William at home as well.
He said this as he was irritated.
And by the way, all your cooking is amazing. Mom's meal is the best, so why don't from her? It's your job as a wife to take care of your husband, eat good food. Don't use pregnancy and William as to not do wife's jobs. You should take care of me better. Since you're not being helpful, this is interfering with my work. Having a housekeeper is better than having you as a wife. You're really useless."
Kevin is the one who's using Will's excuse, not me. In the back of my mind, I thought Kevin was cooking for himself and throwing a pokehead at his own nonsense, but then I calmed myself down. Maybe it's pointless to say anything else about Kevin anymore.
At every turn, Kevin would say things like work outside the home is for women who can't handle their own homes, or this is done by the wife because it's her job. I tried not to say anything unnecessary.
When I do and talk back and keep it, then Kevin, for some reason, would taking care of William even though wife's job to take care of William.
But he only plays with William when he's in a good mood, and Kevin never does anything that requires his hands. William cries at night. He just won't go to sleep. I have an early morning tomorrow.
Yet, outside the home, Kevin pretends to be the father who takes care of William more than I do. Who does he think he is? He is a teacher, but he doesn't seem to know what it takes to take care of a child. Maybe it's best for me to get a divorce from Kevin. I thought that, but then, at the same time, it's my job to raise William as a wife. Besides, my husband used to be a curse drinker. Maybe if his busy period is over, Ma will calm down and maybe change. No, I'm going to change Kevin, and these thoughts, maybe me, continue my life with Kevin. A few years later, William grew up, entered kindergarten. I took this opportunity to start my time at a local supermarket.
You won't be able to balance the housework and your part-time job and raising William. There's no way you can handle a job like that.
To his comments, I was so mad and answered, I promise that I will quit immediately if you think I cannot be of my jobs and shouldn't keep my part-time job. If I can balance and complete tasks fully, then there are no complaints from you, right?
Why would he say such thing when I work outside the house before? Also, I had a higher salary than Kevin was working at the office previously. I didn't say this to him, but I promised myself that I would do whatever it takes to keep my part-time job. Years passed, and it was time for my son William to start first grade.
It's my first day of class, too. I hope you enjoy it.
But you said the same thing when WU entered kindergarten. You've never been to any of William's school events. You said when William starts his first grade, you will be there, you remember?
William's first grade ceremony was in the morning, while Kevin's school ceremony was in the afternoon.
I asked Kevin if there was anything special to mark William's first day, but he didn't seem too bothered about doing anything. I've put up with you all this time. Don't you love William?
I told you that I am very busy.
Kevin, I work too now.
You're just a part-time worker.
After our argument, I asked him to promise me that he would be there for William's first day of school as a first grader.
The promise letter included I will participate in school events from now. I won't complain if you divorce me. Don't participate. I.
After that argument, Kevin started at William's school events as much possible, but only in the morning of William's practice match, or only for the first Williams music concert.
Even though Kevin participated in only a small part of the events, and not since before Kevin had never come to any events, people around me said, "Your brother is really cool. Even though he is busy, he made it great husband."
When I told Kevin about what other parents said about him, Kevin replied that he was actually a good husband who took good care of William. Everyone knows it, but they're just too arrogant to admit it. Kevin was only just good at appealing, but he was a good father who took care of his son when he wasn't doing anything else. He also praises himself for being a good father to William and smirks, which make me annoyed. And whether it was the stress of YE or something else entirely key, alcohol consumption gradually increased. When he comes back from work, Kevin lies down on the living room floor every day and snores loudly. He doesn't take care of William nor how William is doing at school, or Kevin has forgotten his promise to attend William's school events or even just the first day of school. It was not unusual for Kevin to forget things like that. Even if I had told him something important, he wouldn't remember it the next morning or even the day after. I began to wonder what was the point with Kevin anymore, so I started saying things I shouldn't have said when I went back to it.
Why don't you participate in some household chores and be a good fat William?
You? Who do you think you are, earning his only part-time job? You can start giving advice and expressing your opinions to me when you start making McMuch as I do. Are you kidding me? He growled at manner I had never seen before.
I thought that even if he was should not have been told like this, because I asked my husband to be a William and asked for support for Kevin is able to make the money he right now because thanks to me, I do the household chores. I clearly felt something snapping in my head. This is it. It's over. I started preparing for divorce with husband noticing. I had no intention of giving up Kevin, because I didn't want William to go through such a burden living with Keith. So I did several part-time jobs, and in my spare time or at night, I would work to make more money just to not have to go through the hardships with Kevin. To be honest, I was feeling quite dizzy at first, but I didn't have any time to spare to prepare for a divorce. I continued to take care of the house as usual, even though I had several jobs, hoping that Kevin wouldn't notice, but I stopped ironing my husband's. I don't care if he wore a crumpled. At that time, Claire became ill and nursing care. Kevin and his younger brother were at a loss as to what they could do for Claire and her future.
As I listened and heard their discuss, Kevin said, "I'm going to have you, Mom's place, and take care of her. She's your mother now, too."
He said this in a serious voice.
Why? I have a job too. No way. I don't want to.
It is your job to do so. In fact, I'm just surprised you have anything about this situation or off take care of your mother. Aren't you aware that she is your mo too? Besides, part-time jobs aren't really a job.
Wait a minute. We are not living in era that just I'm a wife. I should be staying at taking care of only household chore, family.
You don't want to take care of my... You have been living off from my ear, not taking responsibility of being wife.
Don't call it a wife's responsibility. It's your own convenience. If you want to talk about responsibility, then do force me to take care of your mother without my permission. You have crossed the line.
I've been taking it out for a very long time now.
Here, the divorce papers. I'm quitting as your wife. So right here.
My husband seemed surprised to see completed divorce papers, but he did sign them saying, "I'll take it anyway."
I submitted the divorce papers immediately and left the house with my son. I then immediately contacted my lawyer. I asked my lawyer to contact my husband with the details I had already prepared in advance. Then to this, I got a response from, he said he wanted to meet with me about it, but I already knew that he wouldn't say such thing. I guess my husband thought that I was the one who would cry and go back to where we were before, but that wasn't the case. I refused all contact and meetings and proceeded with a divorce settlement. I have been preparing for this moment for a very long time now. I used all of my savings and canceled my insurance to pay off my mortgage. Because of this, I had almost no salt in my diet. I was very lucky that Kevin had left all the household finances to me. In addition to this, thanks to that Kevin wrote and signed himself participate in school events, can get a divorce. Kevin couldn't.
Kevin sent me text message saying,
I will forgive all the things you did now and of being a bad wife in the past. Just come back home with William.
You should be the one apologizing, idiot. And I just blocked him.
In the end, I got the house in the property division and alimony for the harassment Kevin had caused, and he went back to his mother's house to live. He was about to force me to take Claire, but now Kevin has to do it now. Since Kevin wasn't used to doing the household chores or being the caregiver, he had to take leave from his job, and I, who he was very proud of, was cut off from my income. My ex-brother-in-law, Harry, who had planned to force me into taking care of Claire and planned only to come and take Claire from time to time. It's not only penniless, but doesn't even have Kevin, who is frustrated by the unfinished household chores and not returning any of Kevin's calls. I think Harry plans to leave everything behind. Besides, Kevin conveniently becomes the perfect caregiver to Claire. By the way, I have the full custody of William. My ex-husband must have been disappointed by this because he had no doubt that William would choose him over me, as he was the one who earned more money than I did.
Dad hasn't played with me since I little, and I do. I want to be with. This was what William had said to me.
My son told me that he would work his way out of high school to help me. But actually, even though my first job was at a local supermarket, I quit after about a year and was able to return to my old job where I worked before that. And next month, I will be hired as a full-time employee, and my different, which I was working at home, was going to be gone. In fact, I now make more money than my ex-husband. Kevin is paying the child support, so I don't have to worry about my son going down any paths without any worries.
It was all thanks to you that I was work hard and concentrate on my job. I'm sorry for what I did, and I hope we can start over.
I received this letter from my ex-husband through his lawyer, but it's too late now, isn't it? I temporarily unblocked my ex-husband's WhatsApp and sent a message to him.
Thank you for your letter. Your feelings were very well expressed.
Then, Kevin responded quickly. So coming back. Thank you. I can't wait.
Then he replied, my final answer. Good luck taking care of Claire all on your own, and I'll never see you again. That message. I also sent him a video, burning his letter, and blocked.
I hope that through taking care of Kevin, he will understand all the stress I went through while married to him and live with the remorse for the pain he caused me. But maybe a man like Kevin, he may understand because he is that kind.